driver interviews, pit action, industry news. We're bringing you everything that fuels the adrenaline-pumping world of dirt track racing. Buckle up now. You're sitting with the Slimy Bastards. Take it away, Jason.
Well, welcome to the Slimy Bastard Podcast Show. Another week, another fun week of racing, I should say, for everyone that was out and about and seeing what was going down. Tonight's show is actually I've been excited for. I've been wanting to have a chat with this guy for quite some time. But first and foremost, special shout out to the guys who helped me with the show here, Tire Demon, and then, of course, Outdoor Image, Tree Care and Services, and then Pit Stop Motorsports out in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Slade Pit and all the guys out there have done a lot, and so I appreciate that. And of course, thanks Gary. But tonight's episode, I have the one and only Jake Sachau. I like I said when we first got on, I first actually met you. Well, I didn't even meet you. I wanted to introduce myself to you down in Boone at the Super Nationals, and I seen you kind of crouching off to the side there, and I figured after what happened in the main there, I didn't want to bug you because what went down. But you went for a hell of a ride off of that back turn there in Maine there.
Yeah, that might not have been the best time to talk to me. I wasn't very happy with myself, but that's part of it, I guess. I'm not that way, so he'd have been all right. But yeah, that was pretty sketchy. I didn't know. I'm just glad it turned out all right, and I didn't get into Brayton, and I didn't wreck my car either, so got to keep my spot.
But welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the Slimy Bastard Podcast Show. I'm not trying to throw rocks in your parade here or anything right out of the gate, but no, for what you've done and all that over the years, of course, winning the Boone Nationals and all that, and going for it again this year. How overall, I mean, it wasn't the finish you were looking for, but making the show, you had to been pleased with that in the long run, right?
Yeah, I was happy. I was talking to somebody earlier about it, and most people would be really happy to have the week that I had, and I was just really disappointed because I know it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot similar to how last year turned out for me, but it's the way the cards played out. It's what do you do? So it was good though.
Yeah. Where were you pitted at? I wish before you answer that, I wish IMCA would actually come out with a map on at Boone that would have everybody's pit location. You know what I mean? Just be handy for the fans, because guys that want to come down and buy merch or whatever and meet you guys in person that may not know where you pit every year, and guys change, but it'd be handy just on the IMCA app or My Race Pass app or something that would have a map of where guys are pitted. You know what I mean?
With all the technology and the MRP deal, I think it'd be pretty easy for them to punch in some names and have it done. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people ask that. I'm on the end of, I think it used to be Champions Row, or maybe it still is there, that main row right where before you pull into the racetrack, the concrete slabs. I'm on the very last slab down there. So
you're down all the way then on the west side.
Yep, right before you turn to go back to Boone Lake there or whatever.
God, I walked by there I don't know how many times, but you just get so overwhelmed. I mean, there's just so much going on around you and everything, and
be pretty tough to miss the bright orange car. Watch where you're walking.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I just get so, and honestly, just a lot going on that week of what I was doing and everything, but.
Absolutely.
Some pretty big wins though. I mean, this year and everything. What stands out the most for you?
Oh Lord, I get put on the spot right away on a question like that. Obviously, the top of my list has got to be getting lucky and drawing the front row for the ROC at Boone again. That's 3 in a row. I don't think anyone's ever done that, or I don't know if anyone's ever won 3 of them. I guess I didn't really pay attention to what they're saying about that deal. It's just crazy that I won. It was a good race at Colby there. But this last week was pretty big for me. I've never won at Spencer, and they had the fair up there, and my girlfriend's family. Yeah, one of her sides of the family is up there, and they like to go. And I've never been able to win there, and got beat there leading multiple times in the past, last lap passes and stuff like that. And I won both of them this week. So that was pretty
Yeah.
big for me, and it might have helped me with the national title deal here. I don't know. We'll see how that all plays out, but
That's going to be a cool race too. I mean, going to Knoxville and that. I mean, have you raced there before?
no, I'm not going to Knoxville actually.
Oh, aren't you? I thought you were.
Nope,
So,
nope. I wish I was. I didn't race the stock car enough this year to dabble around in that deal. I was hoping they get the
okay,
sport mod in on that, but didn't work out. So
sure. So where's home at for you?
grew up in Denison. We bought a house 4 or 5 years ago here
Uh-huh.
in Manning, so just 20 miles away from. Amanda's from Harlan, and I'm from Denison, and Manning's pretty much 20 miles from both towns, so kind of in the middle for
Yeah.
now. So yeah,
Do you have a home track that you call your home track then, or
yeah. I grew up in Denison, so Crawford County Speedway is my home track.
okay? Yeah.
I
Do
grew
you
up. I
travel?
guess I grew up at Harlan too. I mean, Denison's my home track, but I've been going to the tracks since I can remember going racing 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So both of them are
Yeah.
pretty close to home for me. So
Yeah. Do you travel around? I mean, besides going to Boone and all that, obviously, but do you go anywhere during the winter or anything? Do you have any of that on your radar? Or
used to go to Vegas every year. Then it's not IMCA no more, and they went to $5,000 to win, and they cut the pay back on that. So when they cut pays on events, it kind of everything that we do to go to the races still goes up, and then they want to cut pay. It's kind of hard to make it help support
yeah,
that deal. I'd like to. It was fun going out there. We always had a blast, but planned on Arizona. I bet we've planned on Arizona 2 or 3 years now, and I'm always working or something's.
sure.
I guess the winter's kind of the time where I make my money, so I can go racing in the summer. So it's
Yeah,
tough to take a week or two off, and not only does it cost CA much, but then that's that much profit you don't make at home either. So it's a big swing. I
right.
look at it as a big swing in pay, but no, just try to hit the specials up in the summer around here. I guess
Sure.
we'll make it to Arizona one of these years. So
It's
just
a
not.
cool track. That Paz is something else. I know I talk about it a lot, and even on my past episodes, I talked about it a lot. But it's one of my top favorite tracks to even go watch a race at, and it's
Yep.
really really cool. But
Yeah, we watch it every year, but ain't made it there yet. So
yeah,
someday.
what else is? I mean, what other tracks would you like to hit then that you haven't never been to?
Oh man, Knoxville is probably the top of my list. I was on them pretty hard. I won the Dirt Crown race last fall after Super Nationals here at Harlan in the stock car, and then I won the first race this year. I won was a Dirt Crown race in the sport mod, and I knew that Knoxville deal was brought up on the radar, and I was hounding on him pretty hard to get me in on that deal. I was hoping that I
Yeah,
could get in a stock car with winning the sport mod, but it didn't work out for me. But Knoxville, I remember going there to the Harris Clash when I was a kid, and I never got the chance to race there. So that's one of my top of my list. And in Deer Creek every year, I love going up there to the Harris Clash, even though it's way too far away from home. But
right.
that's one of the shows that I really want to get clicked off my bucket list, you could say.
That track is another one. I mean, that just watching a race up there, it's a shame that they don't do more than just a one, though. You know what I mean?
It'd be really
Yeah.
cool to have a series or something, or like 4 or 6 throughout the summer. I think people would really support that. Yeah.
Yeah. You mean
So
at that track alone, just a
at that
little,
track, yeah, that place
yeah,
is like it's like top notch, I guess,
yeah,
on a lot of people's list. But I think it'd be cool. You know, they did the Bristol deal. I think it'd be cool to do like get something at Eldora, something that's already dirt. But that's a
uh-huh,
long ways for a lot of IMCA guys. But I know I'd like to go out there and race. I always talk about
yeah,
going out and taking the hauler out and just camping and watching, but I haven't made that there yet either. So
yeah. It's hard to do, and then that Super Nationals going on too.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
when you're out and about and everything, I mean, and obviously, I mean, you race. I mean, you look at the sport mod class alone, and I think it's one of my favorite classes. Obviously, I mean, you take modifieds and stock cars. I mean, they're all good. Don't get me wrong, but I I really wish there's they do the all-star deal with the stock cars and the A mods. I really wish they would do that too with the sport mods because I think the caliber of drivers is just as big in that class as what they are in the modifieds and stock cars. And I mean, you take you the Fets, Cam Reimers. I mean, you guys got some big names coming through there that are really good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you get Logan and Brayton, and there's a list of guys that are really really good. I wish it'd be long. I wish they could make the races longer. I mean the All Star deal is 30 laps for them guys, and seems like all the races at Boone for me when they do them big races are too short. I wish they were longer, but maybe that's just a personal
Really?
preference. I don't know. Yeah.
Speaking of that race, I mean, you watch the footage of that. You kind of got lucky on that deal because were you just like in the moment of like, oh shit, here we go, or when you came up over that turn?
And that was a crazy deal. Like, so obviously I'm running the lip around there, and I seen Brayton when I was coming out of two. I seen a car up there and they were moving. So in my head, they were going to be out of the way. Well, then Robbie tucked up from the bottom and down the backstretch. I couldn't see, I couldn't see that
Yeah,
car. You can't see over the spoiler. And then Robbie tucks down to go back to the bottom, and the green's still out, and I'm wide open, committed to the top.
right.
And they threw the yellow, and I seen the car, and all I could think about is, man, that's right where I'm going, And I tried locking it down, and then if you get slowed up enough, you can gain back control of your car, get back on the
Mm.
gas. Well, I was going way too fast to get control of it, so I had to turn right, and I just got as close to him as I could, so it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah,
And it didn't mess nothing up. It didn't even mess my nose up. I don't know how I made it out of that deal without a single scratch, but
yeah,
it worked out. All I could think about when I got back on the track was I had the IMCA camera in my car, and I'm like, man, that's gonna be a pretty cool view for them guys to see.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Because of where I was standing, it looked like you barrel rolled it. Honestly, I mean, that's what we thought that you at
yeah,
first
no,
when you went over, but yeah, it was luckier than hell. But
straight off. I was gonna be madder than heck if they didn't give me my spot back. I tell you that. That's all I could think about. I can't stop, and I got to get back on this track somehow. It worked out.
yeah, yeah. So, what's else is on the radar for you this year?
Um, to be honest with you, my year's kind of wrapping up. Tiny Lund is this weekend here in Harlan, Friday, Saturday, but it's supposed to rain. So I don't know if I'm going to travel somewhere out. I might go north or go to Wisconsin. They have a special over there. Somewhere where it don't rain, I'm going to race this weekend. And then next weekend, I plan on going to Park Jefferson. They changed the track up there and mimic
Uh-huh.
Boone or whatever. And then after that, I plan on probably being in my truck for the rest of the fall and hydrants will be starting and harvest will be starting and probably be
Yeah,
busy. So I don't
yeah,
know. I don't have big plans for this fall. I guess if I'm not working, I'll be racing somewhere because that's just what we do. But
right.
other than that, I don't know.
When you won the nationals and that, was it? I mean, obviously that's one race you'd always want to win, but what was that moment like for you? Were you just like, holy shit at the moment, or what goes through a guy's mind when you do that?
It's hard to put that into words. It's kind of surreal to me. Ever since I was a little kid, was basically my dream is to win that race. Like that's anyone that knows me, man, knows that that's where I wanted. I've loved going to that place. Like I literally used to drive there when I was 16 years old and sleep in my car
Yeah,
all week. Like end of the week, if I could miss school, and like it's just been something that I've wanted for my whole life. So when it happened, I was like, I really didn't know what to say. Like I never would have dreamed that that would ever happen. So it took me a while to realize it, and uh, man, I'm just still mad. I wish I could have done it again this year. I think I had a car to do it. At least go put
yeah,
on a show. Logan, I'm not going to take nothing away from Logan and Tony. Them guys are really good, but
right.
I think I had something to compete with them when I was coming back forward there. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know how to answer that honestly. It's just it's like a chip off your like it's something off your shoulders. Like man, I got that done now. Now it's like I used to be so scared going to that deal. I remember starting my first feature there, and it's like holy cow, look around all the people and it's
right.
insane. Now it's just another race to me. I don't even get nervous. I don't even
Uh-huh.
get worked up. It's weird.
Yeah. Other guys say that too. You just can't get over you race there all week, but it's when you pull out for that final show and just the people everywhere, you don't realize that till that final show. Is that true? Was that
Yeah.
true, like what you're saying?
Last year I noticed it big time. And this year I knew that going into it and I didn't want to get in my own head pulling out there, and I'm really
Yeah.
good at staying level headed. But clearly, you know, all the people are there. But when I pulled out there, I just try to look at the track and see where I need to go, read the track, and worry about my car and not all the people,
Right.
because it will get to you, because there's a lot of people watching.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like I was fortunate enough to watch some of it in the infield and that during the A main, well, for the stock car in the A mains, and you just the roar of the crowd when guys would win, and that's just insane. But you don't really hear that being on one side if you're watching in the stands. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
so it's kind of a cool experience in that. But you know that series that they did on IMCA TV, Boone. Obviously, you were a part of that and all that. I thought it was an awesome series, very cool. How much of that was left out? Was there quite a bit left out on that?
And I don't think so. It's weird that they did that interview with me. It's like they knew what was going to happen. They did that interview with me on Sunday of the Prelude, and then I went out and won the Prelude and continued to win everything all week long. It's almost like they knew it was going to happen or something. I don't know how many people they actually interviewed, but so kind of all of it was hindsight. Like, I had no idea, you know, people that watched that might have thought I got interviewed after the races or after
Yeah,
I'd won Boone, and that wasn't the case. Like, I was all interviewed before that, even before the week even started. So
yeah,
I think they hit. I mean, I don't know. I'm not good at interviews, so I can't really remember all of it, but um um yeah, I don't know. They hit it pretty good, so
I really wish that for each class they would have spent a little bit more time on each, like the whole behind the weeks part, if that makes sense. So like go into depth of your heat race and then go into depth of you making the show, right? And then what goes on behind the scenes of like having you mic'd up with the camera through the whole process of that whole week. And then you could have played that out through that whole, you know what I mean? I thought it was really well done, but there was a lot that was missed that I thought could be captured to make it a whole real true series, if that makes sense.
looking back though, I mean, I totally agree, and it'd be easy for them to pull footage, but hindsight, they probably didn't know that was all going to happen
Right.
with one person going in. You know, I
Right.
know they interviewed Taylor and Matt and me, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there was more sport mod people, but it's just crazy that, yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly that would be cool. They could pull the footage of every win or every race, but they probably didn't want to make it about solely about one person. I'm guessing. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it.
Yeah. So what do you do for fun? What hobbies are you into?
What do I do for fun? This is all I do. um, and I don't know. Um, Racing is basically it, I guess you could say. I like to go out and hang out with friends once in a while, but that kind of kiboshed when the racing got serious a long
Yeah.
time ago, I guess you could say. But no, I don't know. Me and the old lady, like, I shouldn't call her old lady. Edit that out. Me and Amanda like to go out and I don't know, just enjoy ourselves. And we got Brenham now. He's 14, 15 months old, and
Yeah.
that pretty much consumes all of our time in our life. He's our pride and joy for sure. So um I don't like going racing, I guess, if they can't go, because I like him to be there, and I like her to, I know she likes to enjoy it too. So other
Yeah.
than that, you know, I don't, just hanging out with friends. There really ain't nothing more to us, I guess. Pretty simple.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite tracks you like going to then?
Well, I might have to say Boone. That's the place I like to go when I was a kid. Super National is what I look forward to every year, and then my first win, my third night out in my own car. I raced a buddy's car 2 or 3 nights one year. Then I built my own car, and in 2014, my third night out, I won at Boone. So that's kind of always been
Oh,
partial to me. It's only an hour and a
yeah.
half from home, hour and 20 minutes from home. So Denison's fun. I mean, it's my home track. It's a big half mile. I grew up on half miles, but I don't know. I gotta say Boone. I do like going to Deer Creek, like I said, but Boone's number one to me. So
Yeah. Would you say that if you had to go race anywhere that you'd want to go that you'd never been? Obviously, we talked about Coca a little bit in Arizona and all that, but where's one place on the map that you have kind of circled that you'd like to get to sometime?
how I don't know how to answer that. I don't think I'll ever be in the position to run like a late model or anything, but Eldora has been one track that I've always liked. I guess
Yeah.
the sprint cars and late models out there, but if they ever had something at Eldora, I would make sure that I made it no matter what happened. But other than that,
Yeah.
I guess I really don't pinpoint tracks. That Texas Motor Speedway looks cool, like the facility. I was down there a month ago and picked up a car and went right by it. That watched the races there. It looks nice. So I just like
Yeah.
racetracks at a racy. Quite honestly, I don't care where it's at or what it is. So
Sure. Hey, you have a Harris chassis, is that correct?
no, I'm in a rage
Okay.
car.
In a Rage? Okay.
Yep.
I apologize because we talked about Kyle Brown a little bit beforehand, and so I wasn't sure on and how you liking that then?
No,
How you liking the Rage?
this car is the best race car I probably ever got in. I gotta say it's good everywhere I go. Definitely, definitely my favorite car I've ever drove. I figured up the stats today just driving, trucking, and I've won 50% of my races, and that's pretty tough to do with this
Yeah.
car. So it's really good.
And you plan on keeping it then? You're not gonna sell it this to get the new chassis then, or yeah?
No, I think I'm gonna post it for sale here in a couple weeks. So see what brings in next. I'm not sure what I'll do yet. So
You said you run some stock car in that. How do you like running that?
the racing quality is probably a little better. And I'm not gonna take nothing from sport mod guys, but like when you pull into a racetrack, I think there's probably more guys top to bottom that can win in a stock car. So and then they're all kind of equal, like the same weight and same. I mean, sport mods are probably the same weight too, but like the stock car is a stock car. Like the racing is just tighter, in my opinion. So in that aspect of it, I like it, but I also think they're really slow compared to a
Yeah.
sport mod. Like everyone asked me about it, and like if you look at the times, no matter where you go, stock car is a little bit slower, like within a second, probably the sport mod. But when you're sitting in the seat, it feels like you're going half the speed as a sport mod, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So I guess I kind of understood, and I'm not taking nothing from the stock car guys, but I kind of understood why when the modified guys got into the stock cars, everything was kind of easier for them. It seemed like they're really good right away, and it
Right.
makes sense. It made sense to me after I got in one, why, but they're fun. I like driving them. I got a new one here, and I got my old one yet too. So probably dabble around in that a little bit more next year also.
Sure. Are you gonna run both then next year or what?
I plan on having two cars. Yeah. I don't plan on doing a whole lot of racing next year, honestly. Just kind of whatever. I want to spend more time with the family, and I want to build a house here sometime, and I
Yeah.
gotta quit spending so much money on the racing. So
Yeah.
um whatever's close. If we're not going somewhere to a special with one of them, maybe go somewhere weekly. We're definitely not going to run for points next year. I know that. I don't want to get wrapped up in that stuff, and I didn't even plan on
Yeah.
that this year. And it's kind of stressful,
It
but
it kind of sucks you in for guys, doesn't it? Because all of a sudden you find out you're leading in points somewhere, and then you're like, well, shit, I could pull this off, and you just don't get like Justin Yeager says it the best. You just don't give a point championship away just for something stupid.
no,
And and I'm not saying your family time's stupid, but you know what I mean.
yeah, go out to eat or something like that, or go to.
Right.
One thing I don't like is you miss a lot of friends. I've missed a lot of friends' weddings over the years. I
Yeah.
think they understand, but that's one thing that I do regret missing. But yeah, we won the first two nights out, and sure enough, that's the two tracks we raced all year for points, and it just
Right.
happened to be close to home, so it worked out for us. But I had no intentions at all on running any points this year, and here I am.
Yeah.
So
One thing I've asked every guy that's been on the show all this year is if you had your Mount Rushmore drivers. So I'll use the sport mod classes because of how well you've done in it and all that. But if you had your Mount Rushmore of drivers on for your sport mod class, who would you have on it? And before you answer that, I mean, I want you to know that there's in past episodes, guys have brought you up. So it's kind of cool to see. But who would you have on there?
uh the first two that come to my mind, and I think Doug just moved back to a sport mod or racing a sport mod in a stock car now, but I grew up racing Doug Smith and Dennison and kicking my ass every night. And then I'd go to Harlan on Saturdays because they're both my home tracks, and Clinton Wellen would whoop my ass every night down there. So I know they ain't racing necessarily Clint. I know Clint's retired, and then Doug's just getting back into one here. But them two gotta be the top of drivers that are the best in the sport mod to me. Obviously, when you pull into a place, Brayton Carter and Cam and Fetz, Logan, Anderson. There's a lot. There's a lot of guys that can win any given night. So
Yeah. Hey, do you ever come up to that night of 1,000 stars up here in Britt? Were you up here this year? I think you were, weren't you? I know you were up here one of them nights, or was it the Salute to Veterans?
no,
I swore you were up here.
I came up to 2000 to win sport mod. There used to be a sport mod nationals there, and I'm not sure if that's what it was called this year, but the track promoter changed, whatever. They had a sport mod race for 2000 to win. I came up to that. I think it was in April or May, maybe.
Okay.
And then I came up there. When did I come back up there?
That's probably when it was, honestly. That's when it was, when I was there that night too. But yeah, I mean, you ran well up here though too. I mean, you did pretty well.
Passed him for the lead, and I got tight in 3 and 4 and got into Justin Kleinsman. He was leading it on a restart, and I wrecked. Touch share. He got into my right. I got into his left front, his right, or my right rear, and it wrecked him. And they put me to the back. I just pulled off. I felt bad for what happened, but that's one track. I think I've run second, third, and fourth at Sport Mod Nationals. It always was 3,000 to win, or 3,500 to win, or something 2,500, and can never win that place, man. That's one track I couldn't win at. I went up there again, I think it was a month ago here before Boone, and I was in position there I just couldn't get Alec, and then we had to restart, and then Apple passed us both. So I had the wrong gear in, but I ain't trying to make excuses, but that was my excuse that night. But that's the track I can't win at. I know that.
Yeah. It's on everybody there again. That's one of them maybe it is a bucket list item for some guys, but some guys, I mean, you always want to win at everywhere you go, but it's just, to me, that's one of the best, I shouldn't say best, but one of the top tracks up here for watch a race minus Deer Creek and that for our area, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see guys come up here to support that kind of stuff. But to get you out of here on this and that, I wanted to know what your number and that. What's the reasoning behind your number, and where'd you pick it, and where'd it come from?
Growing up, going to the races, Mark Noble, which is number 74 from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, and Kyle Burke. I think he's from Marquette, Nebraska, 14. Those are my two favorite drivers, and I like number 14 over number 74. So when I started racing, I picked that number.
Gotcha.
I kicked myself in the ass. It was like my second year racing. They had a late model race in Denison there, and Kyle came and he won, and I happened to win that night too. It was probably one of my first 3 or 4 wins ever. I always wanted to get a picture with him in victory lane with both of our cars, and I wish I would have done that. So maybe someday we can remake that if it ever happens again. But.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool as hell, really. What year was that?
Yeah, I had it been like 2015.
Okay.
I started in 2014, so I've been racing for 10 years.
Yeah. Have you thought about moving up to it? I mean, when I ask guys this question, they're like, "Well, why the fuck would I?" I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Obviously, the money and all that. But have you had any desire to move up to an A mod or anything?
Yeah. If they'd have open motors, I don't have any desire to run a crate motor.
Yeah.
And there's talk of they're going to do that this year, so that might happen yet for next year. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see what the rules come out for next year, this winter.
Are you saying they're going to go to an open? Have you heard that, an open motor for
I'm hearing. I haven't heard it from like IMCA, but people that have is like a 360 spec motor, like similar to what the stock car motor is. I'm hearing, and they're going to give them a 2-inch spoiler. Just like the crates have in the mods. And then I'm not sure on what carburetor or fuel or any of that stuff. I I don't know. There's so many unknowns in that deal. I don't know.
Right.
If it's possible to compete with it, I might go that route and see what they do with the sport mod rules too before I go
Sure.
back that route. So I got 2 stock cars sitting here, so I can always
Yeah.
race that, and I don't see what happens. So I don't know. I don't like a crate. I'll be honest with you. I don't like the crate motor deal, and that's where I'm at with it. And that's if they ever change that, I said I'd move up, and it sounds like they might change it, so I might move
Yeah.
up.
So if you do and all that, where would that change where you're racing then weekly, or what you're going to do then for the year, obviously, or not?
No, I go into every year and not really having a plan, and
Mhm.
see what happens with my local stuff. I plan on bouncing around. I don't plan on but racing half the nights next year as I did this year. I think I've raced 42 nights this year already. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the rules and what I have for cars and what's what for next year, and go from there. I honestly have no idea. Like I said, I don't even know what class I'm going to have next year for my mod or sport mod or whatever. So
Right.
see what happens. So
Well, man, I appreciate your time and all that. I know it's kind of short notice and that. And like I said, I apologize for not getting down to me in person. I always like to do that before I have someone on the show and that. But it's a pleasure of finally meeting you, I guess, over a computer and that. But one of these times when I see you in person, give you a handshake and maybe have a beer or whatever. But um, yeah, best of luck to you this next year. And it's been fun watching you race this year. And after last year, keeping an eye on you and that is pretty cool. And like I said, that Boone series, for those that haven't seen it on IMCA TV, make sure you check it out because I thought it was really, really done well. And it's a great little mini series. And their episodes ain't very long. What are they, like 20 minutes, Jake?
yeah, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
So it's a cool little mini series. And did they even do that this year? Did they do anything like that this year? Do you know?
I can't answer that. I have no idea. I would imagine they had to have. I'm sure everyone liked watching that deal, but I was not
Yeah.
involved in one this year. I know that. So
Yeah, we don't have you on your radar anymore. You
washed up.
yeah. No, but when I am out and about though, I look forward to meeting you in person, and thanks again for your time, and love to have you on again.
Pit Stop Motorsports, Dirt Tracks Racing, largest inventory trackside parts service. We keep racers on the track, located in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and coming to a track near you. Check us out on Facebook at Pit Stop Motorsports. And tell Slade Pitt the slimy bastards sent you.
Driver interviews, pit action, industry news. We're bringing you everything that fuels the adrenaline-pumping world of dirt track racing. Buckle up now. You're sitting with the slimy bastards.